following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified for general audience. It is intended for all ages. It contains little or no violence, no strong language, and little or no sexual dialogue or situations. We would like to remind our viewers that the views expressed in this program by our participating guests are solely viewpoints of them who take part, and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network.
Today we bring to you a different flavor. We're talking about gaming and the youth of Sri Lanka. Well, gaming has been an addiction. For us, still, gaming is an addiction. But can you monetize it? Can you convert it into a career? Well, that is exactly why we've got 3 individuals who've actually converted gaming or their passion for gaming into a career. And they're definitely doing something quite extraordinary in the country of Sri Lanka as well. So we'll have a little conversation with them right here on Gen XYZ. Well, hi, thank you so much for actually doing this with us as well. We're joining in with 3 youth members, by the way, and they're obviously, I love your name, by the way, okay? So they've got interesting names. We've got Sajid, we've got Dimit, and of course we've got Dakshina as well, who's a part of the show today, in conversation with regards to how gaming has actually taken over the world right now, especially in terms of monetization as well. So I'm going to start with you. I know it's been very interesting in Sri Lanka as well. We're still sort of normed or culturally bound to think that gaming is actually an addiction. It's unnecessary. But you have actually converted that into a career today. So tell me exactly where this whole passion began and how did you convert it into a career, man?
So actually I didn't want to become a game developer. So in the beginning, like at that time we didn't have any gaming industry in Sri Lanka. So after my A-levels, I wanted to become, IT professional. Then I went to get my IT degree. And while I'm doing those things, and I have always been passionate about gaming, and I have played games a lot. And then I'm just not just playing games. I did some research on them, and
you basically found that to be quite interesting as well, and you converted it into a career. So congratulations on that mark, actually, to be honest. But, you know, there's a lot of circumstances in Sri Lanka, if you think about it as well, right? AI is taking over the world. You know, gaming is definitely something we thought at the age of 8. That is okay if you're playing games at the age of 8. But at your age, I'm not going to ask your age, but at your age, when you're still playing games.
yeah, exactly.
The Sri Lankan youth and people in general are going to be like, what is he doing? Why is he a failure in life? What?
No, but the thing is, like, even with my career, I need to play more games. So not just about the career. Even like if you are bored, you can play games. It's not just a bad thing, I think. Even like everything has pros and cons. Even the gaming also has pros and cons.
Right.
So if you are addicted to gaming, it's a bad thing.
Okay. So don't you eventually get addicted to gaming, man? Like if you think about it, because I know obviously when you do game on it, it's sort of like it stimulates your mind, right? It's an adrenaline rush as well, because you game, you're in a battlefield, you know, all of these things. So it's very enticing. So if that's what you're killing time, you do get addicted to it, doesn't it? So what do you have to say about this? Because it is an addiction.
So basically when I was doing my university time, I was addicted, and then I used to play games a lot, like 6 to 8 hours. But there was a good thing as well. It helped me to like reduce my stress, anxiety, and when I was doing something, the exams, it helped me to like reduce the stress as well.
Okay, so you were an addictive gamer.
Yeah, kind of addicted, but not
right.
like addicted.
Okay, right. So I wanna, how did you get out of it then? Or you're basically still in it?
So basically, like I said, I wanted to become an IT professional, right? So while I'm playing games, I knew that I wanted to make games.
Right.
So while I'm playing those games, I researched on them, and I started like developing games. That's how I made my addiction to career, the passion.
Okay, right. Very interesting. That's very, very interesting, actually. So I'm going to bounce off to Sajid. Now, Sajid, obviously, you're quite young as well. You know, you've come into this industry in Sri Lanka, especially in a very rare industry.
Yeah.
So how do you find it in the industry, specifically when you find Sri Lanka? You know, there's barely any of these things that are taking place, you know?
Yeah.
So how do you find that? How did you find a career? How did you really get through it in this field?
Yeah, first of all, I didn't expect to get a job in Sri Lanka. I was, planning to go to abroad. Maybe, I know, in fact, California, USA has the most industry. So I was, training with those teachers in the UK. And one of my friends told me there's opportunity in Derana. They are starting new gaming company. So I just applied and I get hired. But initially I didn't I didn't expect to get a job in Sri Lanka. So I'm glad we have a job, even like started an industry here. I think in the future generation, they have a lot of opportunities in here because a lot of investors are, investing into the gaming industry. They know what the outcome is, and well, it's $1 million industry. So yeah, in Sri Lanka is starting to have an industry right now. I think it's time to start in here.
Okay. So in the next 5 years, where do you see, the industry, specifically this one, the gaming industry,
Yeah.
where do you see it going?
I think it's going for the VR space, and also it's gonna be. I'm not sure about exactly, how where it goes, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a lot of simulations.
Okay.
Because there's
virtual stimulation. Okay.
yeah,
Simulations.
something like that. Maybe it's not for the people who play games, for the doctors, for the especially if a man can do some very heavy duty tasks.
Right.
They simulate the whole thing in the game, and that way we can get the result instead of making incidents. I think that's the gaming will head to in future, in my opinion at
right.
least.
So Sajid actually mentioned something very interesting in terms of it being $1 million, business and industry as well, which Sri Lanka still hasn't sort of catered to. It's not expanded. It's still very minimal. When you think about, gaming development, because that's basically what you guys do, right? If you think about it in the modern sense of things, in one day, you can make a salary by, building a game and selling your game, and you can make the amount of what a doctor would make in 1 month. Right?
Yeah.
Truthfully speaking. So what is your take on this?
Like in Sri Lanka, like a lot of parents and our older generations, they don't have a lot of ideas about this whole industry in a whole. And when we started, actually we had to convince our parents as well to pursue this dream, because they didn't saw the future that we can find a job or anything, and we have to learn ourselves, and we have to find our opportunities as well. But now when we show them the results little by little, and the society will, I think, get
Mold to it,
know
basically.
the potential of this thing. And if we could, I hope so, it will bloom into a $1 billion industry in Sri Lanka. We can do that. And if that happens, I think there will be a lot of opportunities for not only the players, but to developers,
Right.
and the music industry, then the artists and everyone, because gaming is not only just playing, because there are a lot of aspects to that, to building a game, and the opportunities that it opens to the younger generations is massive, I think. And we can hope there will be a potential, a big development in the future.
Okay, so what are the aspects really? Now that's very interesting that you mentioned, right? Because I'm a very layman when it comes to the technical aspect of things. I'm not tech savvy, I'm tech savvy, but not that tech savvy, okay? So what are the aspects that goes into in terms of, gaming per se, what you're specifically referring to?
Yeah, me, I'm personally a programmer.
Okay.
So I'm the one that, let's say, combine everything together and make something to the player to play. Because otherwise, there will be some specific components of the game, but it will be not playable. So that's my part, and there are some job roles to, let's say, build a character, design a character, animate a character, and there are then, let's say, you can add music to that. So basically there are like hundreds
Different elements,
of
basically,
elements
like an
there.
organization,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah, there. That's brilliant.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I can tell. I'm going to come to you. You know, all three of you are actually working for, a company that is actually very well versed when it comes to, giving and catering to this particular field. So tell me exactly what this is, because for those that are actually watching it right now as well, that want to sort of pursue and be like, hey, mom, dad, I want to do this. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be an engineer. So tell them exactly what this whole thing is, because I really want to know what this is as well.
So, not just game development. I mean, if you are talking about our company, so Mogo is not just the gaming company. We have three main elements. We have Mogo Studios, we have Mogo Games, we have Mogo Media Academy. So Mogo started with the studio around 2019, and Mogo Studio is an animation business, actually, animation company. So, and then it's what do you call it?
Yeah, so basically pretty much does with animation, it does with VR,
Yeah,
and
right
all
now
of
they're-
these really cool things.
Yeah, right now they are working on their first animated feature film.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
nice.
then we started our Mogo Games. It started on around 2022 and started with few people. And right now we have around 25 people. And then we realized when we are hiring more people, when we realize we always need to train them. All right. So it takes around like 3 to 4 months, and it directly affects to our the timeline and pipeline. When we are putting people to pipeline, the training part, like, it's affects to the timeline.
Right.
So we needed to reduce that. So that's why we started Mogo Media Academy, just to hire people, and we were like lack of talents in Sri Lanka. So basically we need to train them first and get to our company. So that's why we started Mogo Media Academy as well.
Right, and that's quite amazing actually, to be honest, because I think it's very impactful. And something else I want to connect to that as well is in terms of, I'm going to ask that from Sajid, because I think you're a little bit more younger compared to individuality, So when you studied this, because you have to study it, you can't really just get into it and be like, okay, I don't know anything, I'm just going to do programming. So when you studied it, you didn't study necessarily at this academy, right? You studied in a different academy. But you studied, I think, software engineering or
No,
software?
I'm just an artist. I'm not recording.
You're not recording, okay.
Yeah.
You studied software
Yeah.
development, right?
Yeah.
So when you studied it and when you compare and you came into the workforce, do you find it, how do you compare it? Because I know there are certain things that are not taught yet in software development compared to when you're actually working on it.
Yeah. So as a game developer, but the same theories, same concepts are using in the software engineering as well. So,
Okay.
So programming languages are the same. So that helped me to get into this position as the game development part.
Okay.
So basically it's same, but the thing is the coding part is kind of different.
Different, okay. So they do teach you everything in, if you consider it in terms of that career as well, right? That diploma.
Yeah, comparing programming, they have taught us, but
Right.
the thing is it's kind of different than the software engineering, the game development.
Right. And Sajid, you said you're an artist,
Yes.
but you're not doing normal artistry. You're actually doing digital artistry, right?
Yeah.
So how do you compare that as well? Because you studied the normal base of things.
Yeah. Actually, I can't even draw right now. I just do sculpting
Okay.
and 3D
Ooh,
modeling.
nice, okay.
But it's not different. It's just a media. When you can draw in a pencil, get a paper and draw. If you get used to the tool, especially graphic tablet, when you used to especially there's a program called ZBrush. So you can, the interface, all the technical aspect of it. You can start doing it. But
Right.
if you're at a home, it's very different than working in the, industry. It's just teamwork, talking with other people, especially management. If somebody watching out there, they want to get into industry, I would say learn those stuff first, but make sure you learn how to work with the team. communicate effectively, handle deadlines and all that. That's very important. If you know your craft well, it doesn't, help in that kind of, in the office environment.
Right.
But you should learn all the other things. I think it's better to go, maybe a university, maybe do a course to learn those stuff. Other than that, you can other technical stuff can learn in YouTube, maybe online course, even Mogo Academy, whatever you prefer.
Okay, right. And Dimil, how do you sort of like incorporate AI into programming as well? So because right now I think gaming and AI go very much hand in hand, right?
Yeah. But the thing is like there are no direct ways to incorporate AI. We can get the help to, let's say, clarify things or like discover new technologies maybe. But at this point, there are no direct, let's say, no. We say, I need to create this game and AI create that for me. There are no technologies like that yet. Maybe in the future there will be.
Right.
It will make our job be very easier.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, we use AI to like conceptualize games in today's time. And conceptualize mean like if we have to create some quick concepts to a maybe 2D game, we can ask the AI to, let's say, give me this, give me that, and we can take those AI concepts and ask our concept artists to develop on that. Because if we, let's say, artists to manually come up with ideas and we have a tight deadline, it's like very time consuming for them, and that helps in that area, not in the development side.
Right, okay.
That's the current situation with the AI.
Okay, all right. Now, I know we actually covered a lot of the technical aspect of things in this particular program and in this particular segment, but we're going to jump into a short commercial break, and after that, we're going to actually talk about the negative side of things, sociologically, culturally as well. We'll talk about it a little bit more deeper on the other side. But until then, of course, we're joining in with 3 magnificently, really cool kids, by the way. They're really doing really good things when it comes to, the society right now as well, economically. They're helping it, and in terms of a very different way of things. And this is gaming, right? So we'll talk a little bit more on the other side. But until then, don't forget, we are located right here at Al Fresco Garden Cafe, located at Colombo 5. And with that, jumping into a short commercial break. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24. We're in conversation with 3 brilliant individuals that are making an impact in Sri Lanka, but in a very unique way, gaming. Well, gaming for us, according to our minds as well, we think it's a waste of time, it's an addiction, it's unnecessary. But these guys have actually converted it into being soon-to-be a conglomerate, and it's a business as well. Well, monetization is exactly what we're talking about right here on Gen XYZ. In case you are wondering where exactly we're located, well, it's at Al Fresco Garden Cafe, located at Colombo 5. Definitely come by, unwind with a cup of coffee, or they've got great food as well, so definitely come by. Once again, Al Fresco Cafe, located at Colombo 5. Now, coming back to the conversation right here on gaming. Well, I know we actually had a conversation on a little bit of the technical aspect of things in the previous segment. Now, this segment, I want to focus a little bit more in terms of, the realness of things, right? When you talk about gaming, because the masses out there have no idea what gaming is. All they have an idea is it's a waste of time. It's not good for your health. It is completely and utter significance to causing you to be a failure in life, right? But on the good side of things, you've converted things and you've converted gaming into being such a successful thing or monetizing factor. I know I'm going to throw this question to you, right? So in terms of the addiction aspect of things, now I know, Daksha actually mentioned in terms of he was addicted to gaming. He was addicted to gaming. He might be still addicted to gaming. I'm not going to make that conclusion, but but it's an addiction, right? If you talk about narcotics, if you talk about alcohol, all of these factors are addictions because you're going through something depressive, you're going through something stressful, and you want a quick fix. So gaming is a quick fix.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about this specifically?
I would say addicting to gaming is much better than addicting to.
Why?
Let's say,
Why do you say that?
Because
Dimit?
addicting to gaming, actually, if you play games, it will. This is like proven scientific facts because it will increase your cognitive functions, your critical thinking, your reaction times. Because if you play a very like quick firing say shooting game, you have to take quick decisions. Maybe a player comes close to you, try to shoot you, you have to shoot him first to win the match. So those little reactions combining with the play time, and it will affect actually in a good way to your brain. It will decrease your reaction time in real world. Let's say you're gonna face an accident and you need to make a quick reaction, and compared to a normal person that doesn't play games at all, a gamer who, let's say, maybe play 2-3 hours a day, maybe, they will react to that incident very quickly because their brain
Is wired in that way, basically, or trained.
hardwired to that scenarios all the time.
Right. Okay.
Their memory is somewhat good, and their critical thinking, like I said, was improved, and their hand-to-eye coordination is better than some, let's say, person that doing.
I'm going to cut you off there
Yeah.
a little bit, right? Because it's a little contradictory from what you mentioned as well, whether it's a scientific aspect
Yeah.
of being good, because there are pros and cons in every aspect
Yeah.
of things. But there's also a huge amount of cons when you talk about gaming. You get
Yeah.
addicted to it, right? That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it is not good for your eyesight.
Yeah.
Number
that's-
three, it is not really good for your cognitive sense of things because it gives you brain fog. It doesn't really upscale your brain or sort of develop in any way. Four, you don't have a social life. These are all major
Yeah.
cons.
I would have to agree with the social life thing.
Okay, right.
When you are playing a game, you basically live inside your room. You're gonna have no friends, no connection with the outside world. That is the main con I see. Like, if you forget the harm that caused to the human body.
Right.
Because even if you don't play games and you work in front of a computer for, let's say, 8-9 hours a day in a bank or something, that's going to harm your eyesight as well, basically.
True facts. I
Yeah.
agree. But banking, you're making money out of it, and you're compulsively having to do that. Different situation when you're gaming. It's a very different situation.
If you plan that well, you can earn money as well by playing games. You can stream gaming, and it's a huge industry as well. Not just game developing, game streaming and game tournaments. Those things are huge industries. You can make a lot of money, and even in Sri Lanka, there are a lot of game streamers and esports athletes. They are doing that professionally. They don't do any other job, but they earn a lot of money because
Okay.
they found out that they can earn from their addiction, basically. They may be harming their eyesight, but they can earn money.
Okay. What about brain fog?
Brain fog,
It is a factor.
yeah, but with my experience, it doesn't affected me as much because maybe I doesn't
You don't. Yeah, because you're basically
yeah.
right.
I don't know about the other guys, but maybe some people will get affected by that negatively,
Okay,
but
right. So
not sure.
again, if you talk about it, Dimut, okay, there is basically pros and there is cons on every factor of things, right? But again, it's a matter of putting it into a scale and seeing what are the higher cons
Yeah.
and what are the higher pros. So what if there is a higher pro, then you definitely go with it, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of gaming, for the moment, under my ideation, under my knowledge, I find to have more cons as opposed to pros, okay?
Yeah.
Because you can make money in weird ways, right? Whether it be online, sites where you showcase very explicit things and then you make money. So there are other ways that you can make money as well, because monetization, yes, that's what people want, but if it's done the wrong way, it's something wrong. Gaming is also a fact that is actually wrong. Why? Because you create a game that shows so much negativity, so much shooting, so much killing, which is already taking place, or is rather you're simulating it to be a war or a zone of attack. You're in a negative space, attack. But when you come into the realism of things, there's no difference. So you're selling something that is actually going to give a negative impact to someone. Similarly, selling explicit content online. There is no difference. It's both addictions. What do you? I see you smiling away, so I want to get an answer for this because
The thing is like, a game is a virtual world that, as a game developer, we try to create a world that in real life we can't experience. It can be a negative thing like a war field or something, but it can be something very beautiful as well. A garden, you can farm.
Have you got a game like that?
Yeah, we have farming simulators.
Okay, right.
And you can learn how to fly a plane, like flight simulator.
Right.
And that depends on the taste of the player. And let's say if they are younger, they have to have like a guidance of their parents, basically, because in games we have ratings. You have to have some parental guidelines if you have to play some games. For example, shooting games, because they involve blood, let's say killing and everything. So when we create a game as well, we have to target that game to specific audiences.
Right.
If we target that to, let's say, children younger than 12 years old, we have to not include any graphic.
So there are guidelines that you have to follow as well.
We have to follow as a game developer.
Okay.
So that's how we can separate those negativity from the, let's say, a young mind and a developed mind.
Okay.
A developed person can separate.
I'm going to pivot
things.
to him, right? Because Sajid, you said you studied abroad, right?
No, I was planned to study abroad and
okay.
just
right.
happens here. And
so you do have a basic understanding of maybe the US education and all of that as well, right? So I'm going to tweak it a little bit in terms of what you mentioned there as well, because when you consider, internationally, it's a different standpoint, right? When you talk about gaming, when you talk about all of these things. But if you compare it to Sri Lanka, and in terms of what he's mentioned, there is an age category of 18 plus.
Yeah.
Right? You click on that 18 plus. This is an option. 18 plus, you click on it and then you go into the game, right? But how do you know an 8-year-old person would actually click on that, yes, I'm 18 plus, I'm 18 plus and start playing? It is a risk.
Yeah. Yes, I think if you are under 18, you're with your parents. I think it's a parent responsibility, your kid, what your kid is doing. There is no way, in front of a computer, you can, is this guy over 18? It is not. It's just, his conscious decision. When I click 18, I get this experience, whatever the people who are, above 80 should get. I think there's no, the way to filter this guy is not 18 or maybe he's older than 18.
Right. Okay.
Right now it's not, but
it's not
in
available.
future I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so it is a risk factor there as well.
Yeah,
so I'm collecting the cons in a bucket now.
But I would say,
But
go outside, touch grass, get a life, and after that, put game at your life. Not just I just all day gaming. It's not good.
Right.
Have a social interaction. Come home and play a game with friends.
Now that's something that you can work on, where you have a timing on your games, right? Where that's also a prevention of addiction.
Yeah.
Where you have a timing, you play for this amount of time, and then it closes. You can't go beyond that.
Even social media, our app has there's a limitation, 1 hour a day. That's it.
1 hour a day. Yeah, there you go. So now that's an option I will agree on, right? But you wanted to say something, yeah.
The thing is if someone is above the age of 18, they may have their own financial ability to buy a game. Otherwise, they are under parental influence because. So, if a parent allowed their kid to buy that game and experience that game, that means it's their parents' responsibility basically, because they like knowingly gave that to their child, and they can't expect the game to not give that unnecessary part of that game to their child.
Right.
Because now you bought it to your child gonna play it. So if you're gonna give games to your children, I would say like depending on their
Factors that have contribution, right?
age and everything, you can choose a lot of games.
Okay.
That without harming their health, without harming their brains or anything. That means like the first responsibility is on parents actually.
Okay.
I think.
Right. So AI is something that you actually indulge and incorporate in your thing that you mentioned as well, right? But according to recent studies and according to recent articles as well that are taking, a storm on media, AI is quite dangerous. I'm going to be brutally honest. AI is quite dangerous if you think about it, right? Same thing goes with, gaming as well. AI recently, there's been where, you start, building relationships with an AI, a virtual aspect of things, because when you get addicted to something digital like gaming, you very easily get addicted to it. You don't end up making social relationships. You make a digital relationship, which is so bizarre. And AI is a factor that actually does that, right? AI has a way where it's, I don't know, whoever programmed it, to have it in a way where it says, okay, you're useless, you need to get a life, or you need to commit suicide, or you need to do very dangerous things to your life. And that is actually, it happens, right? Why? Why is this happening? Like, I'm going to ask you this, right? Because I know you've done programming, and this is a programming aspect of things as well. Why is this happening? Because we're losing the youth. At the same time, because of addiction of gaming to addiction to digital life, you end up getting the wrong instructions and you commit suicide. You end up ruining your life completely, destroying your life, killing yourself.
Yeah. So talking about AI, AI is recently established in the world actually. So we have like some kind of the ChatGPT thing, but when it comes to AI, we have different kind of AIs. So like you said, there are some kind of apps to talk about the social activities thing and all. And when we are using those AIs, I think we need to like have a limit. Okay, so we need to have limit about like using those things. And when it comes to, but there are pros and cons also. Cons like we can use ChatGPT. Even like in our studios, we are using the AI to like quickly generate those things, and the stories and other stuff we are using AI. But when it comes to the AI as a bad thing, like we have to like watch ourselves every time like using those things.
We're talking about kids, actually, because we're literally talking about kids who are not aware of things. They are craving of, or they're grieving, or they crave guidance, and the guidance that they get is basically digital or AI for that matter. Well, it's very dangerous. We'll talk a little bit more on the other side as well, because I think we just pounded into a deeper conversation right here on Gen XYZ. Once again, we're joining in with three absolutely amazing individuals who've actually revolutionized when it comes to gaming, or the addiction of gaming, changed it into a career. But we'll talk a little bit more on the other side right here on Gen XYZ. Welcome back to Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24, where we're in conversation about gaming. Is it an addiction? Or can you actually make it into a career? Well, that's exactly why we're in conversation with three absolutely amazing individuals who are empowered and has made their addiction, so-called addiction, into a career. Well, right here in Sri Lanka. Well, I think I spoke about something very interesting in the previous segment as well. I'm going to throw this question to you still because I think we spoke about it in the previous one. With regards to AI, AI is a very dangerous tool. When you are young, when you're in the age of 12, 13, 14, right? 15, 16 as well. Let's cut it off at 16, right? You are craving guidance. That is why you have social interactions. You have social norms that have been created to say this is wrong from right, that is right from wrong, right? But when you're in digital aspect of things, when you're addicted to digitalization, when you have a social life only digitally, AI is your friend. AI is your friend. They start talking to you and telling you, you're useless, go commit suicide. As depressing as it sounds, it is what's happening in Sri Lanka. We've had so many cases where youth members, children, teenagers, going and jumping out of iconic places in Sri Lanka, buildings of Sri Lanka. It is very depressing to talk about, but it is what's happening. Why? Because of digitalization, the pressure that you get from it. It's mad. It's really weird and bizarre when you think about it, right? You guys are, now you were a formal addict of it, right? You were literally a formal addict of it. You had no social life during university because that was what your quick fix was, that was what your happiness was, that was what your happy place was as well. What do you have to really say about this, personally, on your base of opinion?
So actually, at that time when I was addicted to game, we didn't had AI. So the AI is a new thing for the generation. AI is a new generation for the world as well. So I think we don't have exact guidelines or anything for AIs right now. I think it's major thing you need to as a government, we need to put some regulations when we are using AI, and also we need to have like you mentioned the death things. But the thing is those apps, it shouldn't be legal, right? It should be illegal. So we need to prevent people using those things as well. I think we need to put some guidelines when we are using those AI apps and softwares.
So what are you doing personally as a game developer to make sure that this is being balanced out?
So like I said before, there are users of AI. So when it comes to the artistic side, and when you're writing a story, we can use those stuff. But when it comes to bad things, we shouldn't do this stuff actually.
That's not answering the question, no? The question was, how do you make sure, you personally as a game developer, to make sure that this is prevented? Because even that 18 plus feature, if you click it, anyone can click it. So personally, what are you doing to prevent any of these distractions? Because you are a formal addict of gaming as well.
So I was thinking like Dimut said, it's like if you're under 18, you are under parents, right? It's parents, parents should be guided their children. And other things, like I said, even for government, they can put some kind of limitation for using those websites. So I think that's the that's the issues.
That you would say,
yeah.
Okay. I still don't see a solution there, to be honest. So I'm going to pivot to you as well. Tell me what you personally think is a solution to it, because you know that 18 plus feature is not working at all. You can't rely on, parents. You cannot rely on parents when it comes to constantly saying, okay, this is what it is, because you do online studying. So you don't know when exactly you're going to basically, get into doing gaming or, click on that and do that and everything. You can't. You can't constantly have parents literally looking through of everything, right? Technologically, it's advancing. The world is advancing. But what is your personal solution to it? What do you think that could be a solution or could be implemented?
Currently, I'm not sure about a
solution per se.
Per se. But we can. I think we can prevent the child's urge to pursue that kind of a relationship with a digital thing by improving the bond with their parents and their families, because lack of that means that's why they seek.
How can you say that, Dimith? How can you genuinely say that? Because if you talk about it, you are addicted to the digital world.
Yeah.
Gaming, things that you guys have actually developed in terms of making it so, you know, it's a quick fix, it's the most interesting place in the world that I want to be because I get to shoot, I get to kill so many things and all of that, right? And you make them addicted to it, right? You monetize from it, okay? You do that, and then you basically get addicted to it, you do gaming and everything. You're not going to want or listen to your parents that's going to basically tell you, no, this is what that's not going to happen. Okay, you're addicted to it, this is the world that you're going to be stuck in.
Yeah.
You're not going to create a relationship or a stronger bond with your parents. What? There's no connection there, you know?
Gaming and the AI part, I think that's a different subject because gaming, you can it's an immersive thing. You know, it's an experience. But the AI thing is you converse with a digital code, but it's not a being. But the thing is it's different from a game. You can get addicted to both those things, but I think if you can let's say addicting to games, I think that can be a little bit
controversial.
Preventative, but
Okay.
the AI part is I think that can be easily prevented by the parents, I think, because I don't know the.
Okay, Dimith, I'm going to cut you off there because I think it's a very sensitive topic, right? But in terms of gaming, once again, I'm talking about gaming, right? You get addicted to it because you're creating a simulation and a world where you get to kill things and you get to shoot things. It might be good mentally in terms of getting your reactions and all of that. Yes, there's pros there. But you're creating a world, a simulated world, where you get to kill and kill and kill and kill and kill. When you come out of this world, when you go into your teenagehood, when you get out of the world, all you know is that it's a negative mindset. I want to kill, I want to kill, I want to kill, I want to kill. And you end up actually doing horrifying things that would affect the nation. Right? Example, US. We take US as well, right?
Yeah.
Now I know you have an understanding of the US standpoint of things as well, right? Shooting. Every day there is a mass shooting. Why? Because of these worlds that are being created. So what is really the difference? Because you're technically giving a gateway to kids and everyone to, okay, go, this is the thing, get addicted to it, this is the world that you need to be, this is what's cool.
Yeah, that can be prevented by in the US if you take out the easiness of getting a firearm.
Okay.
They have supermarkets that you can walk in and buy a pistol and it's done. But not here in Sri Lanka, we can't even.
We do have other obstacles that we can use, knives.
Knives, but it's very hard to commit that because a firearm is basically go point and shoot, then it's done. But if you're gonna stab someone, it's very hard to do, but it can be done. But the thing is if the governments are allowing that to happen, you can't blame that on games or movies or specifically that. There has to be some kind of restrictions to that to prevent that, because if you allowing your citizens to make that crime, let's say, easier, that's gonna create a problem.
No, there are governing laws, right, where you can't kill a person, that's kind of given, right? But the thing is, you end up doing it because the gaming aspect of things simulates it. They literally simulate it in your mind to go and do all of these things. Knifing is one thing, but Sri Lankans, we talk about it, we don't go harm someone else, we'll harm ourselves. That's what happens, right? And that's what's happening right now in Sri Lanka as well. So it's very contradictory. I think the answer there is somewhere down there where you have to search through. So it is very contradictory, but it is a thing that's happening in Sri Lanka, right? Not to dismantle and say, okay, what you guys are doing, what you guys are developing and everything is a bad thing. It's a good thing that you guys are doing, right? But again, it comes into the mindset of what you guys need to do as practice and what you personally need to do as well in terms of pushing these policies where it helps people or prevents this, because the 18+ feature does not work right? Even if you talk about, explicit sites, you can click 18 plus, but you might be a 12-year-old kid going into these sites, right? So those are things that could be in viewing in the future. But are there certain things personally, well, let's like divulge a little bit, right? Are there personal things that you find while you're doing all of these things, while you've studied, while you work in the gaming industry and development as well, that are unethical, that you find that are a little unethical? It's fine. No one's on your back, no one's going to get you back. I just want to know, you personally finding certain things that are unethical and you think it could be, improved in the future.
Regarding game development?
Yeah. In the industry.
Industry. Unethical means in our workplaces, like we try to minimize it, like every aspect of unethical things we can possibly have, because maybe that can be a copyright thing, or even if we use AI, that can be trained by some other artists' work as well. So
that is to do with ownership,
yeah,
right?
ownership.
Originality and all of that. I'm talking specifically in terms of, okay, let's ask this from Sajid, right? When it comes to unethical aspect of things, right? I'm not talking about, sexual harassment or anything, none of that. I'm talking about in terms of the programming aspect of things. Even you designing a body, for an example, for this, a 3D character. This 3D character has certain things that are very odd and very weird. Example, you take the breastual area of a lady that you're probably like drawing or creating for this game. You're extensively expanding the sizes of the breastual area, right? Or you're doing certain things. It's very unethical, right? Because you have to create a market as well at the end of the day, right? What do you personally find that because it's not your fault, it is what has to be done, right? Unfortunately, to make a buck in the end of the day. What do you personally find that is a little unethical in terms of what you've done and what you've worked in terms of game development?
I think you mentioned, I might get cancelled for saying this.
Go for it. Don't even think about it.
There's a people, believe some stuff, LGBTQ and all that. If you're working for let's say if you're working for your company boss is support for the movement, and he wants to promote the LGBTQ, all that. You want to make a character. For that people, it's not unethical, or it is promoting themselves. Right. On the other hand, and other people think, oh my God, this is not good. This is destroying our kids. It depends on the audience we are trying to ship the game. In terms of unethical, in our studio there's nothing. Right. We don't do all that stuff. We make actually we make 12 plus or something. Yeah. We make
12 plus. Okay. Right.
Game for the side scroller game. So
recently we have made that game called Cyber Hero, which helps to it's about cyber security.
It's educational.
Okay.
Yeah, we all do educational and fun stuff. But in terms of unethical, we are not doing anything. But that's why we don't have exact answer to this should be done this way, because we are not doing it. I think in the future there will be government will involve to this when all the investments and all the money comes in, and probably there's a ministry of a game or something. They will, do all the laws and everything. I think for the right now there's nothing. There's no regulation at all. It's our responsibility in the future generation, and after that we should deliver something really good. I think it's our responsibility, behave very well and make a game.
Great.
Nice game.
Thank you so much, Sajid. Thank you so much, and thank you so much as well. I know it's been a very extensive conversation, but it's very important that we talk about these things as well and touch base on it as well, because the masses watching right now have been affected, right, by all of these things. So thank you very much once again, and all the very best with your future that you guys are actually doing in terms of gaming as well. So thank you so much. And with that, this is a wrap on Gen XYZ right here on Other Derana 24. Once again, in case you're wondering where this beautiful place is, it's Al Fresco Garden Cafe, located at Colombo 5. Well, once again, if you do miss out on an episode, we're available on youtube.com/Derana English. And until then, have yourselves a very good evening, and I'll catch you on a different episode.
I want you by my side. I'll never feel alone again. They've always been so kind, but now they brought you away from me. I hope they didn't get your mind. Your heart is too strong anyway. We need to fetch back the time.